You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
What's up, y'all? How y'all doing? It is your girl, your diva in knowledge, Lady Mocha, representing Mocha's Cafe de Paris Renaissance, where I'm always serving you wisdom, knowledge, and spiritual awareness. And y'all, I know it's been a while, so today I decided to actually do a pop-up. All right, so I know it's been a while since y'all have seen me face to face, but I felt for this particular content today that it was imperative that I actually address this in a more personal fashion, because the reason I felt it was imperative that I did so is because any of you who have been following me for a long time know that I have done correction for a couple of years. So I am definitely pretty knowledgeable in this area. And even though it's been quite some time, I have not been in the profession, I would say for almost 4 years. It's a profession that never really leaves you. It never leaves you because it's just so many experiences that will follow you, both professional and personal. And anybody who's been in this profession before can tell you it's a lot of things that mentally are an eye opener for you, and it definitely is a whole new level of reality, none like no other. So anyway, in case you wasn't familiar, ooh, let me take this Bluetooth out, y'all. It's killing my ear, right? So in case you are not familiar, I would say what we're in 2026. So I did corrections between 2019 and 2023, somewhere within that area. So anyway, I worked at a county jail, all right, which shall remain nameless because I'm not too fond of that particular facility, and I don't want anyone thinking that I have any issues with the new sheriff that is there, and I don't want anybody misconstruing that. So it was more so under the former sheriff who was there at that point in time, who was not running things, at least I felt he wasn't running things to the best of the ability of the agency. But nevertheless, that's nor here nor there, right? So anyway, I felt I need to speak on this particular matter because there's a video that's going viral, right? Of two female correctional officers who basically put themselves in a bad predicament. I'm tongue tied, y'all. Put themselves in a bad predicament in which they end up getting attacked by an inmate. So I'm going to be playing a video momentarily, shortly, just so you all can have an idea as to what's going on. So let me first off by saying this. If you haven't already, please hit that like button. I would gladly appreciate that. Y'all, I camped up today. So definitely I'm not able to do this too often because my schedule is always busy. And, you know, I have my own agency. I got a lot of paperwork I got to do now. But I need to stop and at least speak on this because somebody had I forgot the subscriber, but one of the subscribers did bring this to my attention, and I was going to address it anyway. But once one of my subscribers said something, I said, okay, I definitely got to come on here today and address this, right? So let me start off by saying that this profession is not for everybody. And if you're the kind of person you don't know when to put your ego aside, you're not going to survive in this profession for a long time as a correctional officer. I also want to state that no matter how much they train you or how well they train you, there's going to be certain things that you're going to come up against in which your survival instincts got to kick in which your discernment, your common sense, everything cannot be strictly policy and procedure. Some things you have to go off of your intuition, your gut feeling, right? The handbook don't always work. Let's face it. It's just a reference guide as to how to go about handling certain situations when it comes to inmates, but it is not always effective, and it definitely was not effective in this case. Now I will also say this: a lot of these agencies, they do set officers up for failure. They don't train them adequately. And let's be honest, no matter how much they train you, you can't train somebody's character, and you cannot train some people's personality. Some people are just nasty. Some people are drunk and intoxicated off authority, and they don't know when to sober up and realize that you are outnumbered and you can possibly put yourself in a position in which you end up challenging the wrong individual. But before I go into giving y'all my whole spill on this situation, I'm gonna just go ahead and play that beautiful beam footage so y'all can see the situation that took place between these two female COs who decide to go heads up on this particular inmate, and we will talk a bit about him too shortly, because he does have a record that shows that he's not a force to be reckoned with. And again, that's why it's very imperative for officers to do their due diligence whenever you are encountering or approaching these type of individuals. But let's go ahead and play it, y'all. Let's get into it, right? All right, let's go. Okay. All right, y'all. Try to make sure I set this thing up correctly. Y'all mostly need to see the video, not me. So if I get covered up a little bit, that's all right. Let me also say this video is based for fair use purposes, for educational purposes. Also, I do not condone violence. I do not condone women hitting on men, and I do not condone men hitting on women. Regardless of such, we are accountable for our own actions. So let me start off by saying that even when people provoke you, it does not give you the right to physically attack them or harm a person because they're provoking you. At the end of the day, as a grown man or as a grown woman, you are responsible for your own triggers, okay? So let me start off by saying that, so there's no problems, okay? All right, so let's get it.
Step off. Yeah.
Hey, Grandma, when you go out there, man, please don't get a white shirt, bro.
The white shirt's
Man,
coming
tell
over
them it's
here
an emergency, bro.
because of a shakedown.
It ain't about the shakedown.
Okay,
I don't
what's
care.
it
You do
about?
that every day.
What's it about that?
Come on, like, man, you just woke me up out my sleep for no reason.
It's a random
I ain't
shakedown.
I haven't disrespected you. I never had a jack ticket in my life.
Okay.
No.
What does that
It
have
ain't
to do
a random
with me?
shakedown.
It is though.
And
It
dudes
still
got
hasn't
everything
been
to
shut
do.
down since you guys moved in there.
Come on. You thought a motherfucker was laughing at you earlier. You looked at me and then looked like this, like, come on, man, we all see.
What are you talking about? You need to step off. Go somewhere else. I don't give a fuck about that tape on the ground. You need to go somewhere else.
Please stop cussing at me. I'm not cussing at you.
Hey, go ahead and just cuff up then.
Please stop cussing.
Oh, I see. All right, 15 for a blast. Go ahead, cuff up. Turn around.
Please don't do that.
Turn around and cuff up.
Please don't do that.
Turn around and cuff up.
Cuff up for what?
Because you ever see the white shirt? They got white shirts instead.
I'm just asking.
Turn around.
I'm just asking you. Please don't.
Turn around and cuff up. It's the last time I'm going to tell you. It's the last time I'm saying it. Turn around and cuff up.
Please don't.
Cuff up! Get the fuck over! Get the fuck over!
All right, y'all, that went left really, really fast, right? And we're going to talk about that in a few minutes. Also, I'm going to play this video really quickly. This explains who the inmate was in this particular incident that y'all just witnessed. Just giving you a little information on Mr. Hunter here, okay? Please hit that like button, by the way, if y'all have not.
$1 million bond set for inmate.
Let me play it from the beginning.
$1 million bond set for inmate accused of assaulting TCI officers. Bond was set at $1 million Monday for a former inmate at the Trumbull County Correctional Institution who, according to an indictment, assaulted 2 correction officers in March. Joseph Hunter, 38, appeared in Trumbull County Common Pleas Court on 2 counts of felonious assault, each carrying a repeat violent offender specification. The indictment alleges that on March 14, 2025, Hunter seriously harmed 2 TCI corrections officers. A repeat violent offender specification is an enhancement to a criminal charge, allowing for more severe penalties if the defendant has a history of certain violent felony convictions. Hunter, who has since been moved to the Ohio State Penitentiary in Youngstown, is currently serving a 32-year sentence. That sentence stems from previous convictions in Lucas County for involuntary manslaughter, attempted murder, felonious assault, and aggravated robbery, all first-degree felonies. Those charges originated from November 21st, 2011, robbery of a Toledo convenience store, during which the clerk fatally shot Hunter's accomplice. Although Hunter did not fire the fatal shot, he was convicted and sentenced in connection with his partner's death. $1 million bond set for inmate accused. $1 million.
All right, y'all. So, just to kind of pause, so I can get a little bit of more clarity on his history. He had appeared, okay, so we know he has these new charges tacked on, felonious assault, and it is definitely an assault, even if you just throw a food tray at an officer and it misses, that is still considered an assault. He has 2 counts because there was 2 officers, of course, each carrying a repeat violent offender specification. The indictment that alleges on March 14th, Hunter seriously harmed 2 TCI corrections officers. Okay, okay, so I guess he's going to get indicted on it. Wait a minute. So this happened, okay, so this happened in 2025. Okay, so they're just putting that out there like it kind of just happened. Okay, so I guess he's getting charged for those things. I don't know why. Maybe his court date is coming up or something, because this video is going viral like it just happened yesterday. But anyway, we'll continue. A repeat violent offender specification is an enhancement to a criminal charge, allowing for more severe penalties if the defendant has a history of certain violent felony convictions. Hunter, who has been moved to the Ohio State Penitentiary in Youngstown, is currently serving a 32-year sentence. Oh, yeah. The sentence stems from previous convictions in Lucas County for involuntary manslaughter, attempted murder, felonious assault, and aggravated robbery, all first-degree felonies. Those charges originated from November 21st, 2011, robbery of Toledo convenience store, during which the clerk fatally shot, I guess, one of his friends. And even though he did not fire, he was convicted in connection to his partner's death. So I guess him and his friend went to go rob a convenience store, and the friend ended up getting unalived in the process of the robbery. And that's what happens if you and a group of friends, y'all go to rob a bank or commit a crime together, and if one of y'all get hurt or actually end up dead from the robbery, even if it comes from the person who you tried to rob, all of y'all are going down and being charged for the death of one of your homies or one of the people who was involved with you in the process of the crime that y'all were committing together. So yeah, that happens pretty frequently. So anyway, just wanted to explain that. But back to the issue at hand, right? The whole thing in a nutshell is this. The officer was totally out of line. And this is where I pretty much break down a lot of the elements in which was the situation. First of all, when you are working, and I'm just going to move this out the way because I know it can be pretty distracting. First of all, whenever you are working in a facility, there's several things you have to keep in mind. Keep in mind that you are working amongst criminals. I cannot specify it any more than that. These are criminals, okay? They didn't get locked up for nothing. And this is not to say that because they are locked up or incarcerated that we have the right to handle them however we choose to. But what I'm saying is that you have to realize just the fact that they are criminals, you already up against something that's way beyond your mental capacity, right? Secondly, the other issue is this. Not only is the environment, but you're dealing with men, most of them who don't have anything to lose. A lot of the guys that are in these facilities, a lot of them are there because they have done very heavy, severe crimes. We're not talking about traffic tickets or on child support or maybe minor probation violations. A lot of these guys are here because they have committed violent crimes. So therefore, they are violent. And you have to always keep that in mind, even when they're being polite, even when they're being respectful. Never underestimate these men or women, because you do have female inmates as well. You cannot underestimate these individuals, okay? So, with that being said, right, let's talk about the situation at hand. For one, the issue with this was whenever you have an inmate, and I guess I can go ahead and I'll put it back. I'll bring it back over. Whenever you have, hold on, y'all, I got you. Whenever you have an inmate that is coming to you hostile, and frustrated, you automatically have to go into calm mode. You have to go into professional mode, okay? Because face it, a lot of these guys are agitated 24/7, the majority of the day, because let's face it, they don't want to be there, even though they made the decisions that caused them to be there. They ain't thinking about all of that, all right? They're already frustrated because they are under a system that pretty much controls and dictates their every movement, okay? So you're already dealing with frustrated individuals, right? So the moment this young man, this guy came to her frustrated and aggravated, her whole attitude should have remained calm. Because if they're frustrated and you're frustrated, they get to talking reckless and then you get to talking reckless. Bad energy is feeding bad energy. And this is very detrimental because at this point in time, what you're doing is escalating the situation versus de-escalating the situation. So we're going to play it back kind of slow, okay, this time. And then I'm going to interject.
Hey, man, when you go out there, man, please don't get a white shirt, bro.
White shirt's
Man,
coming
tell them
over
it's
here
an emergency,
because
bro.
of a shakedown.
It ain't about the shakedown.
Okay,
I don't
what's
care.
it
You do
about?
that every day.
What's it about that?
Come on, like, man, you just woke me up out my sleep for no reason.
Now, let me pause right here. So, this is a minor issue, but it is one of those issues that a lot of these jails are kind of strict on, which is dress code. Appears to me that all of the guys have on a white shirt, and it may be every jail is different, okay? It could be one of them things where in your cell you can wear any color you want, but once you come out the cell, you got to have on your white shirts. So, look like to me, everybody got on their white shirts. I don't know why this guy over here without no shirt on. That's a big no-no. They're not supposed to be coming outside their cells with their shirts off. I'm surprised. They should have been making that more of an issue than this over here. But nevertheless, it sounds like to me, they were doing what's called a cell extraction, which is very common. That's basically a cell search. They do pop-ups, they do surprises. Of course, you don't want to prepare inmates for them being notified that you're going to check their cells. At the old county jail where I used to work at, we would randomly pick certain side of cells, like we're going to do the left side, the upper top tier left side today. And then the next day we're going to do bottom tier. We would always try to change it around and make it unpredictable so the inmates would not be prepared to hide shanks and things that they should not have within their possession. So sounds like to me that's what it's about. And basically he sees he's not getting anywhere with the officer, so he tells one of the other guys, hey man, go grab me a white shirt or whatever the case is, because he knows if he's out there without a white shirt on, that's a policy violation. You could lose privileges, you could lose commissary. So I'm guessing, I'm just assuming that maybe doing shakedown, he was told, get out, come from upstairs, come from out your room. He didn't get a chance to change his shirt. So now he's in violation being outside of his cell with a different color shirt on. And he more than likely is supposed to be wearing white like everybody else. So I think it sounds like to me that's where the problem kind of started from. But I get it. When you're doing a cell search, you don't have time for inmates to be telling you, well, I got to get my shirt. I got to get this. I got to get that. Because a lot of times they be running game. They like to play games, and what it is, they want to remove something right quick that they shouldn't allow there. But what she could have done was just say, hey, where's your white shirt at? I'll grab it right quick or whatever. And handed it to him. And he could have changed it out in the shower somewhere else and just had him to place his green shirt on top of the table until shakedown was over. Then he can go back to his cell with his white shirt on and his green shirt. It's several ways that could have got handled, but it sounds like to me this is what started the issue. He's outside his cell without his white shirt on because it sounds like he's having an issue with the shirt. That's what I'm hearing. Okay, that's what I'm guessing. Go ahead. We'll continue.
Random
I haven't disrespected you. I never had a jack ticket in my life.
Okay. What does that have to do with me?
Okay, he's saying I've never disrespected you, and from this, in all honesty, he's not being disrespectful. He's being He's just agitated. Okay. He's being annoying. Okay. But this is what you signed up for. Okay. This is what you chose to do. He said he never had a JAG ticket. So I'm assuming like he means like I never had any violations. This is not normally my character. Like I'm just want this resolved. Can you do something about this? I'm not trying to disrespect you. I just want to try to get this situation handled, okay? And because she's going strictly by policy, strictly by code, and I know we've been trained that when it comes to cell extractions, don't give them time to go grab anything, do anything. Make sure they completely exit their cells. But if you see they are in violation, not having the right shirt on, I think she could have at least tried to accommodate that just to keep the pressure down a little bit. But let's continue.
It is though. It hasn't been shut down since you guys moved in there.
Come on. You thought a motherfucker was laughing at you earlier. You looked at me and then looked like this. Like, come on, man. We all see.
What are you talking about? You need to step off. Go somewhere else. I don't give a fuck about that tape on the ground.
Give me a moment. Okay, so again, the guy is explaining his frustration. He's explaining how the officer is treating him and how she's handling him, how she's basically kind of making a mockery out of him, trying to insult his intelligence and all of that. So I don't see a disrespectful inmate. I just see he annoyed. He just agitated, and most of them are. So this shouldn't be nothing new to her up under the sun. When she said, I don't give up, what's on that floor, that definitely, I'm not even in his shoes, and that rubbed me the wrong way. Was that really necessary for her to address him in that manner? I got to be fair. The dude didn't cuss her not one time. He did not use not one curse word. When you see them being common level, you stay common level. They think about, hey, sir, I cannot let you go back to your cell. You grab your white shirt, but, if it becomes a violation issue, I will possibly see if I can get it waived for you, being that you did cooperate and you did come out your cell. It's 1,000 ways she could have got around this, okay? But you can see where the tension is building up, okay? Because he wasn't even on that level. He didn't even take it to that level for her to have taken it to the level that she took it to. So, continue.
You need to go somewhere else.
Please stop cussing at me. I'm not cussing at you.
Hey, go ahead and just cuff up then.
Please stop cussing at me.
And he just said, please don't cuss at me. I'm not cussing at you, okay? At this point, she's becoming more personal instead of professional. And the problem with a lot of correctional officers, they don't think they're not supposed to be questioned. about anything. And even with authority, even authority has to answer some questions. Even if you feel they're annoying, even if you feel it's not that serious to you. She's basically allowing her authority to kind of get to her head now, because what I'm sensing is, F you, I don't care about your concerns. What I do care about is you doing what I tell you to do. Now, pay attention to his body language. He's getting frustrated. He's trying to keep his cool. You can tell he is slowly but surely, he's losing his composure for every good reason.
Oh, I see. All right, 15 for a blast. Hey, cuff up. Turn around.
Please don't do that.
Turn around and cuff up.
Please don't do that.
Turn around and cuff up.
Cuff up for what?
Because you ever see the white shirt? They got white shirts instead.
I'm just asking.
Turn around.
I'm just asking you. Please don't.
Turn around and cuff up.
He begging, please, please don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that. Once it started getting to this point, this is when backup should have been called. She should have got on her radio. Okay? Because it's just you and him right now. Not only that, the fact that you're addressing him and the manner in which you are in front of all of his peers, that's a big thing for inmates. You have to be mindful how you confront them or address them around their other counterparts. They got enemies in there, dudes that don't like them, dudes who probably owe them money, and these dudes are watching to see if this guy displays any type of weaknesses. If he displays any type of weakness, they're going to use it against him. His time is going to be hard. She can give less than a rat's ass because it's not her in his position. Me personally, when I would have a problem with inmates, what I would do is I would pull them aside and talk to them about it. I don't cause a scene around other inmates. I don't call them out. Now, some things you do have to call them out on, like, hey, now you know you're not supposed to be passing items. That's a violation, Mr. Johnson. Something like that. But in this matter, what's being tried is his patience. What's being tried is his reputation. And what's being tried is his integrity. She basically punking him. All right, now keep in mind, even as an officer, you have to realize that these guys got reps. They got images to maintain. You don't put him in a position in which he got to prove that he's about that life. And if you're approaching him and addressing him like you a man, you know what I mean? He's going to forget that you are a female in a uniform, and he's going to handle you like a man. Now, the way she's talking to him at this point, she's acting more masculine than he is. And guess what? As a female officer, do you not know you can still be feminine and put your foot down? Mr. Johnson, I understand your concern, and I know you're frustrated right now. But that is not a priority, okay? I'm going to need you to calm down. I'm going to need you to get it together. I will address this issue with your shirt later. Not never, just not right now. I'm not telling you no. I'm just telling you not right at this moment. Can you please have a seat and sit down and relax, because I don't want to have to write you up, okay? We will talk about this later. I understand you're frustrated. I will have to get back to you later on this, okay? Women, use your feminine charm, not just to get money out of a man. You can use your feminine charm or your feminine energy to make a man calm down. If you talk to him like a woman, and you're gentle and you soft-spoken and you're not acting all thugged out like you on his level. She's acting like a man right now, and I think that's what's going to make him forget that she's a female. So even in a uniform, sometimes women tend to become very masculine, but you're going to see all her feminine is about to come out in a few minutes, okay? On all this masculine energy, we're going to see she's not as masculine as she thought she was. But let's continue.
It's the last time I'm going to tell you. It's the last time I'm saying it. Turn around and cuff up.
Please don't.
Cuff up.
Turn around and cuff up. Then she sprays him. Hate to be the bearer of bad news. Mace and tasers do not always work. So as an officer, you got to be ready when you use that mace or you use that taser, because some of these guys are like lions, tigers, and bears. They're immune to those devices. And again, that's why I say these policies and procedures and training, they're not effective for everything. In that case, she should have been on the radio. Signal 13. I know it was called Signal 13 where I was, in which as an officer you feel intimidated, you feel this inmate is going to try you. Signal 13s is number one. They drop whatever they doing. Well, if they're a real agency, that's what they're going to do, because that's basically saying officer is in trouble. She should have been got on that radio and asked for backup way before. What it was, he was testing her authority, so she felt, okay? And because she could not get him to just bow down and humble himself, she automatically goes for the mace, thinking that that was going to conquer him. And what it did was, it just brought out the beast in him. It enhanced and escalated the situation. So at this point, he's sorry about that, y'all. I got agency. But so at this point, he's basically stomping on him. He basically started handling. I'm gonna turn my phone off right quick, y'all. I'll get back to them in a few minutes. Okay, so basically, at this point now, all hell has broken loose. He has completely forgotten where he is. He's blindsided at this point. He's not thinking about these are women. He's not thinking about these are correctional officers. This is what happens when anger takes over. Anger and aggression. So at this point, one female officer trying to protect another female officer, in actuality, both of them ended up getting injured. And this is another risky thing about this job that I never did care for, is that if an officer provokes another inmate, and yet it's still your job as an officer, you got to go in and help assist this officer who is unprofessional, and you have to step in and protect her. You cannot just watch your fellow officer get beat up and not do anything. That's a scary thing, because some people just don't realize when they're doing too much, and it takes people who know better, and they end up having to put themselves in a crossfire to get things up under control, because if they run back that beautiful beam footage and see that you were standing there and you didn't jump in to defend your officer, well, they'll terminate you for failure to aid or failure to assist. Basically, they'll consider you like a coward, like you ain't do shit. You didn't look out for your people. You feel me? So the other officer who didn't provoke the situation, she was just basically doing what she was trained to do. You come to the defense of another officer who you feel is in danger. After all, help is not arriving at this point. So she can't just stand there and watch this woman get stumped out and hurt and injured and not do anything, basically. That's what I'm saying, right? But it resulted in both of them getting injured. Now, you don't hear that masculine energy as much. Let's continue. All right, so from what I can tell, And it looked like it took a male officer to get him under control. Because I can tell the male officer had on like a vest. Let me see if I can get to that part. Okay, look like at this point. Okay, they grabbed him. Okay, this from another angle. Okay. Oh, let me play this back, y'all. This is another angle. Okay. I'm thinking they were showing the same thing twice. No, this is from a different angle, y'all. So let me show y'all this other part here.
I'm asking a question. Are you having a...
I'm asking you a favor. Like,
I'm
like
not...
I'm trying, okay.
No.
Okay.
I'm asking a question. Are you having a mental health crisis?
See, she's definitely stepping out of character because the man is displaying his frustration and she's trying to make his frustration come off as like, is something wrong with you? Like, are you mentally unstable? Are you suffering from mental illnesses? She's basically making a mockery out of him because as you can see, he takes his hand like, okay, I see what this bitch, I see what this bitch trying to do. She's trying to be funny. Let me continue.
Okay. Not having a mental health crisis? Okay.
Yeah, because if he admits that he does, they're gonna put him in a goddamn stray jacket. Okay, that's basically something you don't want to admit to as an inmate because they're gonna take you out of general population and they're gonna put you with the crazies or they're gonna isolate you. So she knew what she was doing when she said that. There ain't no way any inmate in his right mind is not going to agree to the saying that they got mental illnesses. So he can end up getting all type of medicine shoved down his throat and all kind of stuff. Nah. So no, she's just being vindictive at this point.
Your cell's open. More than welcome to go up there now. Stop the roll!
It's a lot going on, y'all. So look like even after the other officer came and intervened and gave him permission to go get his items, looked like she kind of snuck up on the side and she sprayed him anyway. Okay. Alright, this is when they backup is coming in with their cameras on, body cams. They're pulling him away.
David, help her. Forget him. Help her. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. Get on the ground. I'm done.
All right, y'all. So we could see from that point, right? Basically they are taking him into custody and removing him from out of that unit, which is really the best thing that they can do at this point. And normally after this, what happens is the officers who have been physically assaulted, usually what they do is they will render them care. A nurse will come and check on them, document any bruises, uh any damages that they experienced from this attack. All of that is going to be documented. More than likely, the officers will get a couple of days to rest. And they're definitely going to get the medical care that they need while they are out, not at their own expense. I believe in many instances, the prisons or the jails, they do accommodate officers when they've been injured on the job. And usually after that, the officer can return if they're strong enough or mentally capable of returning back to the same wing after they have experienced that type of attack, or in most cases, they'll probably relocate them somewhere else within the jail. May have them work in booking, may have them work in transport, somewhere where they're not having to work in that same area. Especially in which the attack occurred, because now it may give the other inmates a stronger sense of feeling as if now they don't have to respect that officer, because that officer they actually saw get attacked by another inmate. And inmates can be petty, they could be malicious. That's why you got your so-and-so whipped, and you done came back, you must be came back for some more ass whippings. It gets very, very, it could be very challenging returning back to a unit in which you were physically assaulted. Not only that, the trauma behind it of remembering when you last was there, the incident that happened. So all of that, or in most cases in some cases they'll quit because they're too embarrassed to go back and have to face those same inmates that they know witnessed the attack and things of that nature. So more than likely that's what's going to happen. And we already know, of course, Mr. Hunter is going to get more charges, but you have to realize a lot of these inmates, they are about that life. They don't care about any extra charges. This man is from the rough side of the tracks, and most of them are. These guys work out every day. They are constantly in shape. Officers don't be in shape like inmates are. Somewhere along the line, these agencies are not making correctional officers, and I think that should be a requirement, that correctional officers need to be put in shape. They need to exercise, because you got to be ready. You cannot always resort to pulling out your mace or your damn taser because you're too lazy to go head up. You know what I mean? These guys are strong. They have the energy to go to toe to toe. You know what I mean? So you have to be ready. You get what I'm saying? So, she verbally challenged and disrespected this inmate. Okay, she began cussing and it escalated. She sprayed OC mace when the situation didn't even require that. It really did not. The inmate was clearly trying not to escalate. I really, as much as I really want to go ham on this dude, because, it's just like a nature thing. When a man hits a woman, you automatically, as a woman, you're going to feel some type of way. But the truth of the matter is, this man did everything he could to try to work with this officer. And I'm going to just be honest. Female COs, they are some nasty creatures, bro. And I will be honest with you. When I was a JTO, meaning a jail training officer, I had to train young females that were coming into this profession. Now, why would the agency allow young women 18, 19, 20, knowing they're emotionally underdeveloped, knowing they don't have the experience and the maturity to understand you cannot talk to these men like they are your sons or your nephews? You have to talk to these men like they are men, regardless of what. Whether if he's a child molester, whether if he is a woman abuser, your job is not to judge. Your job is to maintain order and structure within the wing of the facility in which you are assigned. That is your job. Your job is to not talk to these men like they are children. Okay? So she definitely brought this upon herself. And I will say this. I will also say this. I blame the agencies as well, because let me tell you all something. Working in the background, not from an inmate perspective, I'm talking about from a correctional officer perspective. Working in the background, they train officers to be nasty. Nasty officers are often rewarded more than officers that are kind and professional. Anybody who's been in this profession, please let me know if I'm wrong on that. Please let me know. I'm talking about people who have actually been correctional officers. I know y'all see it in y'all agencies. Y'all see the nastiest, most conniving officers. Those are the ones who are praised and respected and valued. Officers who try to bring balance, who try to be professional, who talk to inmates like they somebody. These are the officers who they terminate. These are the officers who they get rid of. They act like being an ass is like a indication that you know how to do your job. It's like they honor you. They honor officers that are nasty. I guarantee you, this particular officer, she been a beast. For her to be that comfortable and address this man in the manner in which she addressed it, she been doing that for a long time. I could tell the way she was talking. I could tell in her tone, like, Ninja, listen, I've been doing this all my life. Nothing has ever humbled me. No one has ever stopped me from being able to talk the way that I talk. She had just that much boldness in her arrogance and her attitude. I've seen it 1,000 times. And you just know the day and the time is going to come. I've seen some officers so nasty, and then when an inmate reacts, they act like they didn't see it coming. But the funny part is, all of us who knew they were nasty, we knew it was coming. We was like, yep, it was just a matter of time. Johnson been doing this. Johnson been disrespectful. Johnson been trying people. Now, because not only are they nasty towards inmates, but 9 times out of 10, her kind, they are nasty to other officers too. I've seen it. I've seen it many a times. So the inmate snapped. Not that he was right, but we got no control over how people snap. That's why you got to keep yourself in control, because you cannot control how other people respond. The inmate snapped and physically attacked her, then attacked the responding officer as well. Please make sure y'all hit that like button. I'm not promoting violence. I'm speaking from real experience as a former CO. Okay? Ego in corrections gets people hurt every single time. Okay? People have to realize, I want to give y'all a couple of bullet points, right? Authority is for safety, not for ego. When you are hired and put in the position as an officer, your authority is not just talking to people the way you want to talk to them and disrespecting folks and disregarding their feelings or whatever the case may be. It's not just about your ego. It's about enforcing safety. That right there, she put herself in safety, and she put her jeopardy in safety, and she put the other officer in safety who didn't even disrespect the situation. She set a grenade for the responding officer. So when she was getting attacked, by the time the other officer got there, who did not even disrespect him, the man was already on 1,000. So anybody who came near that situation was going to get it. The man was on 1,000. Okay? Verbal disrespect escalates faster than silence. If you are the kind of woman or you the kind of man, you don't know when you're doing too much and you love to debate and go toe to toe, it's probably better that you become silent. She would have been better off saying, sir, I'm not able to address this matter right now. I'm going to go ahead and handle this, and just walked off. Okay? Sir, I have to get ready to check the next cell or whatever the case may be, or I'll send someone else to assist you. That's it. All that going back and forth is going to get ugly sooner than later. Inmates are already in survival mode, so don't poke the bear. They already mad that they there. They already mad that mama ain't put no money in the commissary. They already mad that they baby mama out there smashing other dudes. You know what I mean? They got 1,000 reasons to already be angry. So it don't take much. It's simple things that you feel it's okay to disrespect them on. If that man come to you and say, my towel is dirty, I need a fresh mother effing towel, It ain't so much just the towel he mad about. He's mad that he's even in this situation. Now, truth be told, yeah, he put himself in that situation. Nobody told him to rob or steal or take somebody's kids. I get all of that. But they already angry about other stuff that they caused, and they have to deal with this situation. So any way you can lighten the load, get the man a clean towel. But tell him to bring you the old one. Okay? I'll get you a white shirt, but not right now. At least show some kind of gratitude that you're willing to work with them. Okay? That could have easily been de-escalated. All right, Mr. Johnson. Okay, I'll get it. I'll get you a white shirt. Or send, if it's not outside the agency protocol, get another officer, get another inmate to grab a white shirt. Send anything. Anything to hurry up and make the problem go away. Make the problem go away. You don't add to the problem. OC spray is not a punishment tool. That OC spray is like damn, throwing a piece of gum to a doggone pit bull. I mean, as you can see, it did not work. You cannot always go by those books. You got to go by your common sense. Okay? And I'm sure the books didn't even tell her to do that. She did that out of being nasty. She hated the fact that the inmate was persistent. She took his persistence as him being disrespectful, as him challenging her authority. No, challenging your authority would have been like, bitch, you better go get my a white shirt, or you stink a hoe, you better go give me a white shirt, something like that. That's challenging your authority. He was not disrespecting her. He was being very, very persistent. And the problem with egotistical officers, they don't like to be questioned. They don't like for you to repetitively repeat yourself. They look at it like you're challenging your authority. And as an officer, if you can't tell when an inmate is being persistent versus challenging your authority, then you are definitely in the wrong field of work. Emotional officers create unsafe environments. She put everybody in jeopardy. Just being nasty, just being reckless over a shirt. Now, I could see if, somebody's life was in danger or something like that. She's seen him physically beating up on another inmate and probably felt the need to use spray to calm the situation down until the backup got there. But it was over a shirt. Over a shirt. And she cussed the man out. Just doing the most, okay? Professional COs de-escalate, disengage, and document. Could have been several ways she could have got him back, other than through OC spray. She could have wrote him up, took away his commissary, took away his phone calls, his visitation. Prove your point in another way. Gain your authority in another way, other than cussing a grown man out and challenging him. This isn't just an officer issue. It's training and supervision failure. You have a lot of these officers who have been in the profession for a long time, and they've been able to get away with talking nasty to inmates. They've been able to get away with talking nasty to staff, and because they've been there so long and they've shown their dedication as part of the old buddy system, the higher ups, they rarely ever get rid of these individuals. They pretty much let them be shot callers. I guarantee you this female officer, she's a shot caller. I bet she has a lot of pull in that agency. I bet a lot of things she has done and she's never really been held accountable for it. And this is the thing. The irony of these jails and these prisons. They want the inmates to be held accountable for their actions. But what they're not understanding is it's those who are in leadership over these inmates. They're the ones that need to be held accountable more than anybody, because the truth of the matter is they're not dealing with their consequences. The inmates are dealing with their consequences. So whether they rebel or not, they know that they really are limited in their power as far as getting the things that they want. But the officers are more dangerous, because the problem is a lot of them don't get severe consequences for their attitude. They don't get it from the staff. They don't get it from the people that hired them, right? Most of the time, nasty officers get their consequences from other inmates who got to put them in check. When it really should be the officers putting them in check. It really should be the sergeants, the lieutenants, those who are in authority. They're the ones need to get them in check. When they see they officers being nasty to the inmates, hey, Officer Jones, I need to talk to you. Okay? Officer Brown, I need to talk to you. The way you talk to that inmate just now, do you not know you putting us in our liability in jeopardy? Do you not know you're going to make it hard for other officers to come in and be able to deal with this individual? Nasty officers set the tone for how all the other officers get treated. There's been times, right, when I had to come in and relieve another officer, I could tell our officer left an odor there before I got there. And I'm not talking about just the smell, but her energy. You can tell before I got there, she gave them inmates hell the whole 12 hours before I had to come in and do my 12. Just their whole attitude, their whole aura, to the point where some of them would even be nasty with me before I even clocked in good. Before I even had my cup of coffee. I don't feel like this bullshit. Hey, look, I ain't got nothing to do with how officer, Keisha was treating you. Don't take that energy out on me now. I just got here. Whatever y'all had going through, I got nothing to do with that. Oh, you're right, officer. You're right. I know, I'm just saying. That broad over there. A lot of times inmates, they'll tell you what officers are just nasty. And I'm going to be honest. My last 10 years there, I had an inmate, who warned me about an officer. And I will never forget, he was like, because they call you by your last name. He was like, Officer T. I'm going to just be honest with you. You a cool officer, you don't give us a hard time, you know what I mean? And I'm just saying, be careful. Watch Officer so-and-so, because she a snake. If you ever work for her, she going to be the one that's going to bring you problems. I don't know who that inmate is, but to this day, he never lied. She ended up bringing me a lot of problems to my profession, in which I was not even able to work there anymore because she made that environment just that hostile for me. And it took that inmate, bless the brother who told me. Because he already warned me about it. Because he been there so long, he had every officer down pat. And listen, a lot of these inmates, they know us better than we know them. They all will notice, all of them will notice just one of us before we notice one of them. You feel me? And they pay attention to stuff like that. They pay attention to the officer that's going to be nasty. They pay attention to the officer that's cool and laid back, but not so laid back to the point where they know they can manipulate and run all over that officer. They pay attention. These guys are not dumb, criminal or not. Whether they're in there for felony or misdemeanor. These guys, they can smell you. They could already figure you out. And it sounds like to me, if you talk to the majority of the inmates there, they'll tell you that one female officer, she's always been nasty. And see, a lot of these agencies, they don't do their due diligence because they're more concerned about the money. And they're more concerned about getting bodies to cover their shift. They don't do surveys and ask inmates what officers, you feel don't cooperate, who you feel don't have your best interest. They don't care about that. If you're not going to ask the inmates, okay, ask the staff. What officers do you get along with? What officers do you not get along with? Why or why not? Well, if you find out who the cancer is, who the tumor is in these agencies, you may find that you have a less turnover rate. To this day, that particular lady who had a lot to do with me no longer being there at that agency, she is still there. And she's giving other officers that are working there the same energy she gave me. This is 3-4 years later. And female officers are the worst because they have jealousy issues. And the truth is, a lot of them, they got man problems. They either got a man at home that can't stand them and won't deal with them, and they take their frustration out on the men, the inmates at the facility, or either they don't have a man at all, and therefore they hate men, so they come to these facilities taking out their frustration on men. Or, let's face it, some of them are in that lifestyle, and they want to be more manly than the men that they see in the inmate uniform. You have a lot of that going on, right? Let's just be frank. Now, I don't have nothing against the alphabet community, but some of these broads come up in these facilities and think because they talk like a man or wear their hair like a man that they automatically on the same level as a man. And the truth is, you're not a man, and I don't care if you talk like one, dress like one, you're not ever going to be on the same masculine level that a real man is. Let's just call it out for what it is, right? Violence is never acceptable, but prevention matters. Like I said, I don't condone this man's behavior, but what I don't condone either is a officer who lacks professionalism and lacks discretion. You can't tell the man was pissed off. You can't tell the man was already on the edge. Why would you pour water on a drowning man, right? She was more concerned with winning the argument than winning the situation. This man got several dudes standing around him, seeing this woman challenge him and disrespect him. If she wouldn't have got it, what would have happened was one of the inmates would have got it. As soon as they would have, he was already on 1,000. So anybody who would have said something to him, the man was already triggered. Anybody was going to get it. Okay? Corrections is about control, not dominance. And that's the truth. A uniform does not automatically mean that you have the right to control and dominate people the way you see fit. What that uniform means is you are required to maintain order and to maintain structure. That is your job. Basically, to get ready to wrap things up, accountability without glorifying violence. Making it clear that provocation is not command presence, and understanding that you have to remain calm. That's the biggest thing in these situations. You got to remain calm. You got to know how to talk to people. You got to know how to treat people. These inmates, they are human beings. If you are one that abuses authority, I don't suggest you get in this type of profession. Keep in mind, they outnumber you. I mean, God forbid a riot or something break out. Ain't none of them gonna come to your defense. If you're an officer who always kind of been respectable and always had like a good rapport with the inmates, you'll be the ones they'll look out for in events something like that happens. Not saying this is always the case, but being nasty ain't gonna help it. You'll be the one if a riot break out. Hey, Tice, hey, we about to tell you what we about to do. We're going to give you 5 minutes to go lock yourself up in the closet. I got my boy JJ. He going to supervise the closet. He ain't going to let nobody come in there nowhere to bother you. But we about to turn up in here. So we just telling you, you know what I'm saying, because you a cool person and you ain't never gave us no smoke. But we about to set it off in here. You got to think about stuff like that. I'll never forget one time I fell when the inmate had was mopping the floor and he forgot to put the doggone sign. I slipped and bust my behind right in the wing. I fell. And I'll never forget, as soon as I fell, they all went pounding on the window. Hey, get Officer T down. Okay, y'all, hey, somebody got to get in here. Somebody help her. Somebody look out for her. They'll look out for you. Now, can't trust them. You cannot, and I would not say you cannot trust them. But if you are at least respectable, little things like that you think don't matter, it does. Keep in mind, you got to face these guys in the street, especially if you are a correctional officer in the same state in which you work at a jail. You're going to run into them in the streets. People, in the words of Maya Angelou, people will never forget what you said to them, but people will forget how you made them feel. I had guys on the outside. Hey, I remember when you brought me that sandwich when the other officers didn't. I remember when I needed my medicine and nobody got me my medicine, but you did. It's the little things, because you think about stuff like that when you're in jail. I'm not saying compromise your professionalism where you're so nice to the point where that they manipulate and you and run a game on you. But what I'm saying is, yes, you can be stern. Yes, you can be strict. Yes, you can put your foot down. But what you can't do is go around thinking you can treat these grown men like they are your sons. I see a lot of female officers, they do it all the time. Y'all talk to these grown men like they kids, and you got your own badass kids at home you can't even control. A lot of these women who come on these jobs throwing their weight around, they have no control over their own personal life. They husband disrespects them and knock them upside the head, but they will come to the job with these uniforms on, acting like they run every goddamn thing, or they got a badass teenage son that cusses them out, or little kids who don't listen to them, but they will come on these jobs throwing their weight around, and you'll be surprised in their own personal life how many things they have no control over, okay? Anyway, y'all definitely be safe out there. And I thought it was imperative that I shared this message with y'all. And of course, y'all know I got some more wonderful stuff coming up. Please make sure y'all hit that like button before you exit. Ladies, if you haven't already, I do have my Mocha's Ladies Lounge channel. Please subscribe to that if you have not, if you want a safe space in which only the women congregate. Anyway, y'all, it's been real. Y'all be safe. Please take care. And to all in law enforcement, do not abuse your authority when it comes to how you handle offenders, how you handle inmates. At the end of the day, they are human beings, and it'll be just your luck you try the right one, or in this case, the wrong one. Y'all be safe, take care, and I'll see y'all next time. It's been good seeing y'all. Bye.